Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. So as you guys know, I don't usually do TBRs anymore. I'm very much getting into mood reading, and I found just the constraints of being stuck into a TBR was kind of putting a little bit of extra stress, a little bit of extra pressure on myself. So I don't think I've done any TBRs in 2022, and it's been so fantastic. But for October, I wanted to put together at least some of the books that I'm planning on reading this month. Of course, I might decide to break out of that, but I wanted to put together something that had a list of actual Halloween spooky books, Halloween themed books that I'm probably going to be picking up during the month. So I have, I believe, 5 on this list. Might read more, might read less, might decide to read something else. But hopefully you guys find this list helpful, and hopefully you find something on there that you'll want to put on your own TBRs. So let's dive right in. So the first book that I picked is called Red Harvest, and this is part of the Haunted Hollow Chronicles. So this is the first book in the Haunted Hollow Chronicles by Patrick C. Greene, and it says, the Halloween traditions of a small farming town take a sinister turn as residents are terrified by evil forces in this horror series debut. So of course, I might read this book and want to just hop on into the next one. So let's see what it's about. Every year at harvest time, something strange and wonderful happens in the sleepy farm community of Ember Hollow. It comes alive. Truckloads of pumpkins are sent off to be carved into lanterns. Children scramble to create the creepiest, scariest costumes. Parents stock up on candy and prepare for the town's celebrated pumpkin parade. And then there is Devil's Night. But this year, something is different. Some of the citizens are experiencing dark, disturbing visions. Others are beginning to wonder if they're losing their minds, or maybe their souls. One newly sober singer with the voice of a fallen angel is tempted to make a deal that will seal his fate, and one very odd boy is kept locked in a shed by his family for reasons too horrible to imagine. My goodness. Whatever is happening to this town, they're going to make it through this Halloween, even if it kills them. So that definitely had all of the Halloween feels. It started out with all of those, you know, warm and fuzzy feelings of carving jack-o'-lanterns and picking out your costumes, and turned pretty sinister. So I haven't heard anything about this book. I haven't heard anybody else who's read it. Not even really sure how it ended up on my wish list on my Amazon site, but we're gonna give this one a try and see how it goes. And next up on my TBR is Halloween Fiend by C.V. Hunt. And this one is actually one that is very widely read throughout the booktube community. A lot of other booktubers have read it. A lot of other booktubers have loved it. And I'm really hoping that this one is going to give me all of the spooky feels. So it says, Strang isn't the small, quaint town it appears to be. It's haunted every night by a creature who the townsfolk refer to as Halloween. Once the sun sets each day, Halloween emerges to collect its treats, a small live offering from each household. The residents comply because no one wants to be the target of Halloween's tricks. But the nightmare of residing in Strang is nothing compared to the yearly ritual Halloween demands of citizens on All Hallows Eve. So I know that there is a content warning for animal cruelty in here, and that's usually something I draw the line with, especially if I'm watching movies. Books I can handle it a little bit better, but we'll see how it goes. I know that it's in there. I know it's coming. Hopefully it's not too prevalent or too gruesome, but I have heard a lot about this book, and I know it sounds really good, so I wanted to give it a try. So last year I read a book called Candy Coated Murder. It was book 1 in the Pumpkin Hollow mystery series, and I didn't know, but there's actually quite a few books in this series. So it is very cozy Halloween. It's has all of the spooky feels of this small town, that Halloween is something that, you know, is an export for them. They're called Pumpkin Hollow, and they very much live that Halloween every day for tourists and stuff like that. When I read the first book in this series, It gave me kind of the Good Witch feels, if you know the Good Witch movies that came out before the series. So I wanted to pick up the second book in that series. I didn't want to pick it up last year because I had so many other things that I wanted to read, but it is such a cozy, you know, very, very short book that I wanted to pick up the next one. But having said that, it is very cozy, but it does have a bit of a sinister twist here. So it says, murder is afoot in the small town of Pumpkin Hollow, a town that is loved by its residents and tourists alike. To make matters worse, rumors of a curse on the town keep rearing their ugly head, and Mia is determined to put a stop to it. That is, if she doesn't end up dead. If Mia can't figure out who killed the mayor, the town's reputation for being a family-friendly tourist destination will be at risk, and the town is already struggling just to stay afloat. Can she catch a killer and the eye of a certain local police officer? So this is kind of a continuation of a story that happened in the first book, but having said that, the murder mystery that happened in the first book is completely removed from this one. So I didn't mind reading you guys the synopsis. Usually if it's a sequel, like a direct sequel, I won't read the synopsis, but this one didn't give anything away from the first book. So as you can tell, place called Pumpkin Hollow, very cozy, creepy cozy, but there is a murder mystery at the center of it. So I really enjoyed Candy Coated Murder last year, so I'm really hoping that I'm going to enjoy this one. And this might even become a bit of a tradition where every Halloween I pick up something from the Pumpkin Hollow mystery series. So like I said, there's quite a few books in this series, so we'll probably continue on reading them in Halloweens to come. And next up on my list is a book that's a nonfiction book, but it's by an author that is becoming one of my favorites, and that is A Season with the Witch, The Magic and Mayhem of Halloween in Salem, Massachusetts by J W Ocker. So we've talked about him several times on the channel. He's had a few books come out already this year, some middle grade, already some nonfiction with the Cryptids book that came out in September. And this is a little bit of an older book, so it came out in 2016. Came out in 2016, so it's a little bit older, and I just haven't had a chance to get to it, but it's definitely something I want to read. And going to Salem is definitely on my bucket list. I'm hoping to get there in the next few years because my whole life I've always wanted to go to Salem. Of course, you know, during October time, that place just comes alive. So it says here, for the fall of 2015, occult enthusiast and Edgar Award-winning author J W Ocker moved his family of 4 into downtown Salem to experience firsthand A Season with the Witch, visiting all of its historical sites and macabre attractions. In between, he interviews its leaders and citizens, its entrepreneurs and visitors, its street performers and Wiccans, its psychics and critics, creating a picture of this unique place and the people who revel in it, or merely weather in its witchiness. So I can't wait to read this book. I am so excited to read this book. For one, because I love J W Ocker's writing so much, but also because, like I said, going to Salem is something that I really, really, really want to do. So I think this is going to give me all the Halloween feels. So the last book up on the list that I have planned to read in October is called Haunted: Fields of Screams by Joel A. Sutherland, and this is a Canadian author, so gotta support our Canadian authors here on the channel. So this is about a young boy named Darius, and his cousin Ryan is coming back from the city to come visit him, and Ryan is kind of all about the big city after he's left the small town. So Darius plans a trip to Scarecrow Farm, a local farm that morphs into a Halloween attraction each fall. The boys used to love visiting when they were younger, only Scarecrow Farm is nothing like they remember, and it seems to have fallen on hard times. It's not long before they become disoriented and lost in the corn maze. Just as they're beginning to panic, they come across a younger boy who seems even more lost. Not in the maze, but in his plane of existence. Can Darius and Ryan escape before they become the last 2 victims of the corn maze? So has all the Halloween feels here as well. you know, Halloween attraction, corn maze, that feeling of claustrophobia and being closed in. So this sounds super, super good. I haven't read any of Joel A. Sutherland's books before. I've heard about him, but really hoping to get to this one this October as well. So there you guys go. That is my October TBR. That's everything I'm hoping to get to this October. And like I said, if I do decide to read anything different, of course, I'm going to let you guys know in my wrap up. But that's everything I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please, if you did, make sure to give me a thumbs up. Leave me a question or a comment down below because you know I love chatting with you guys. But until next time, everybody, stay spooky. Bye.